Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. And it is going to be a wonderful Reaction Monday today, as we're going to have a lot of things to get into. A little best and worst of the weekend presented by our friends over at Looper Auction and Realty. We'll have a vibe check of the chat presented by our friends at Basis Health. We'll get into our Alumni Hall question of the day. We'll also have a weekend of headlines presented by our friends of BetSaracen. And, of course, get to anything and everything that you guys want to talk about across the sports board. But let's be honest, we're going to Omaha this week. It's the College World Series week. Arkansas is one of the final 8 teams, as we found out yesterday. But, fellas, after a night of sleep or maybe lack thereof, how are we feeling on this Monday afternoon?
Feeling good, man. I'm still buzzing. Bring me the Bayou Bengals. Can't wait to see them. It's going to be fun, man. It's I can't get enough of going back, and I'm sure we're going to do some of this, but just looking at some of the celebration and the reaction and the press conference quotes and everything else. Super, super exciting. So I've been enjoying that with one eye, and with the other eye, I've been watching Russian Professional League basketball playoffs. So it's a great Monday, man.
I was impressed with some of the names you rattled off there in that Russian league. That's I'm not even saying that ironically. Like, I was kind of stunned when you read off some of those names. I'm like, damn, like that's some high level basketball, relatively speaking. But guys, I'm absolutely buzzing, as you can imagine. My pig is going to Omaha. I mean, there's no better feeling in the world. It's a familiar feeling, but one that tastes a little sweeter this time. You don't take it for granted, man. You understand that this isn't given to you. This may feel like our birthright sometimes, but it's hard to get there, man. I think you can tell how much it meant to everyone on the team, the players, the coaches, the fans. I mean, goodness, that video where they're going through the concourse and all that. I mean, that's hard not to get like. I watched it 4 times, dude. It's hard not to get fired up watching it. This means something, man. You know that video of that guy that's crying and he's like, "This means something to me, man." It means something to me, man. Like it means something to a lot of people, and it's all we know that always, but it's nice to see that reminder in real time and seeing how much it meant to Dave, man. I'm an emotional roller coaster, but I'm a happy emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean it's really the best of all worlds, because you get to not only go to Omaha but feel as confident as you possibly can going into Omaha. You know, it's hard to win in postseason play. We know it. It's hard to win against really good teams, especially once you get to the final 8, because everyone's there who have proven themselves to be worthy of being there. But, you know, when you are sweeping the regionals and sweeping the super regionals, guys, it's just hard not to feel extremely confident. And I think that that's what's a nice little angle to it, is not looking at another team saying, "Oh boy, well, we got to go through them, and they're better than us. We just got to make sure we play our best if we want a chance at it." It's nothing like that. You're kind of that team that everyone's looking at who's going to be in Omaha. Everyone's looking at Arkansas, be like, "Oh, we want to avoid Arkansas," or "Oh man, we got to play Arkansas," which is a great feeling for fans to have. Not to say that it's always going to go that way, because what was it? Last year was the first year in 25 years that the number 1 overall seed actually won it. Well, the number 1 overall seed isn't there anymore. Right now, the number 1 overall seed is Arkansas. They are the number 1 team going into this. And so you're going to have a target on your back. But for Razorback fans, for the celebration and everything, which is warranted, you need it, you deserve it. And we'll have plenty of highlights and videos to play from all of that yesterday. It's just great to have that confident feeling, knowing that, hey, we're the best team. We prove we're the best team. And there's nobody in this thing that we're scared of. Bring them on. Let's go win. Let's kill, celebrate, kill again. And let's go win a title. That's what makes it even more fun, and the anticipation building even higher for the Razorbacks.
Yeah, man. It feels good to be the top dog. It really does. And I don't know if that adds to the pressure. Maybe we feel it. I don't think the guys really care. I mean, I think they're just ready to go out there and ball out, man. They're absolutely dialed in. It's crazy. It really is how this bracket is kind of shook out. Like you mentioned, you know, Arkansas, the 3 seed is now the top overall seed remaining. And the next closest, I guess, would be LSU, who you play next at 6, right? And then I don't remember if Oregon State was the 8 or the 9, but there's not that many left. It's kind of crazy how it shook out. And I know, you know, it was the episode that wound up getting deleted because we got some news of the pot at the palace, but I kind of did the basketball version of the bracket for the regional. I'm going to do it again for the College World Series, and I'm actually going to publish it this time. This might be a better basketball bracket in terms of like top end teams than it is a baseball bracket. And it just kind of goes back to what we were talking about, yesterday after the game of, man, it's that combination of Arkansas being as dominant as they have been, just playing, kind of at the peak of their powers. Then you look at the field and the way it's shaping up, stands the first game being a doozy there. You got to like your chances going into this. I think it's fully within your realms there of being as confident as possible going into Omaha.
Yeah, well, Curtis, I think you're onto something. I think we should make a petition. Instead of the baseball teams playing Saturday, I think we should play basketball. Arkansas, LSU, that's who decides who goes to the finals, and then we'll take our chances there. We'll let the baseball team take over from there. Let's challenge them to a basketball game, not a football game, by the way. But no, seriously, I think there's something to be said about, when everybody wants to win the national title, that's everyone's goal. That's what you want to do. And you look at a team and you say, can they do it? Yeah, I'm sure they could do it. And that answer might be true for a lot of them. But what you got to do to get there is you have to do a lot of important tasks that you don't want to have to do. Everybody wants to play in the Natty. Nobody wants to play in a Super. No one wants to play in a regional. Like, those are the hard ones where there's a bunch of stress. Once you get to the Natty, it's easy and it's fun and it's exciting. Everyone wants to skip to that part, but you got to do a lot of dirty work on the way there. And I think about with this Tennessee matchup, we all knew it was coming and knew it was possible. And a lot of Hog fans said, I don't want that. I want an easier task for the Super Regional. Let's get the worst team possible in there. Some people were cheering for Wake Forest. Now that it's played out, I think a lot of fans are glad that they got Tennessee because you got to see Arkansas tested against a team like that and see them ace the test. It's like once you do that chore that you've been putting off and procrastinating, you feel so much better about yourself. That's how I think Arkansas feels right now, where it's like, nobody wanted to play Tennessee, but you had to do it and you made it look easy. And now that you've done it, you're like, damn, we could have beaten 7 of those. Now you have a little bit more confidence about you. I think the team probably feels that way, and I know the fan base certainly does.
Well, you mentioned the fact that Arkansas is going to be playing LSU in game 1 of the College World Series. Team you played, you lost the series down there in Baton Rouge, but you did win game 1, if I'm not mistaken, Andrew. You won game 1, lost the next 2 games against LSU. So you did lose that series. But
3.
3. That's right, game 3. You're right. So, but yeah, you're right. So, yeah, you lost the series, but you did at least take a game. But it's so funny. That was, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? But it seems like it was a lifetime ago. Just how much has changed. So that matchup's going to be really fascinating, but it goes into it where I'm not downplaying LSU. I am not saying they're not a good team at all. So please don't take it that way. But if you're Arkansas, you're looking at it like, hey, man, we played these teams in the regional. We swept them. We smoked Tennessee in both of them. And then you look at LSU, you're like, man, it's like, y'all almost lost to Little Rock, man. You're like, you guys got, Little Rock gave you all that you wanted. And I think it was a really good team from there. So it's just a matter of going in there. And what's great about it is I know there's going to be multiple games, but it's not multiple games against LSU. It's a one-game thing, and you got to focus on one game at a time. But I know you lost the series, but just because you lost that series doesn't mean you can't win one game. And you may have to play them again if they end up winning the next game, and then you face them, I guess, in game 3 or whatever it'd be, if you're assuming you win game 2. But it's just that one game. Play your A game, that one game. And it's a regional setup too, guys, where, as we talked about, you got to win game 1. You got to win all the games, of course, but winning that game 2, man, is everything. So if you just play your best against LSU in game 1, you're putting yourself in the driver's seat. You may already be, but you're really putting yourself in the driver's seat to move on and to do some really good things, especially given the field and what it looks like right now.
That LSU series was weird anyway. The first game was it was the weird delay, and it started like 5 minutes before the deadline to start a game or whatever it was. Andrew, you were down there, but it was like a 9:55 start, and the whole thing was weird. Didn't that first game, did that go into extras down there? It's like it was an absolute battle. The second game against them, like everybody could look at it and be like, dang, man, Arkansas got run ruled. That's crazy. But it kind of got to a certain point there where it made sense to just kind of pack up shop and save your bullets for game 3. So yeah, I don't take a whole lot of stock into that. I kind of have those, and it's weird because it wasn't that long ago when Arkansas faced them, but this ain't the same Razorback team that you saw in Baton Rouge. But I really feel that way, man. It's just, I don't know what clicked for them. And it's not like they had been playing bad baseball or anything like that, but they're just kind of operating at a different level of efficiency, at the plate, in the field, pitching wise, than they were throughout a vast majority of SEC play, even when they were still beating teams. They look like a machine right now. So I don't care, man. Bring on anybody. LSU, LSU, it don't matter to me, man. Hogs by 90. Let's go. I'm fired up. I think they're going to get this thing done.
I'm fired up as well, Curtis. And again, this comes back to our theme of like having to beat those demons that you faced before. One of my favorite episodes of the Bombastic podcast that I've recorded this year, it was after that game that you're talking about, Curtis, that ended at about 1:20 in the morning or something crazy like that. I got back to my buddy's house who I was staying with. His wife is asleep. She's a nurse. She has to be up in like 3 hours. She's trying to sleep in the bedroom across the hall. And he's like, hey, could you maybe keep it down? And so I'm whispering through the whole podcast. But I sat there and talked because Arkansas loses. I can't remember what the final was. It was 4-3 or 5-4. But you had Cade Anderson, Zach Root on the bump, the likely pitching matchup we're going to have. In that game, Arkansas goes to Aiden Jimenez, and he really just had it was really the first bad outing he had all year. His command was bad. He walked a couple guys. They bring in Gabe Gackle with the bases loaded and 1 out or something like that. And so it was the big situation that just didn't pan out for Arkansas. Gackle ended up pitching really well. Arkansas loses on a walk-off in the 10th inning. Arkansas also had some missed opportunities offensively, but I looked at it at the time and I was like, look, that's a frustrating loss, and you guys are right to be upset about it, but I'm like, it doesn't change the way I feel about this team. It doesn't change the way I feel like they match up with LSU. There's not, like, as we say a million times, there's not a ton of separation here. Now, the next day, LSU run rolls them, and so maybe some fans felt that way, but I think that game 3 where Arkansas was able to salvage that may have not felt like a big deal in the moment, but I think looking back, like, this team being able to kind of show they could win a game in that matchup. They had to piece it together with a bullpen, and LSU was unable to. I think that said a little bit about both teams. You look back on the series, and you're like, man, if Aiden Jimenez just didn't have his one bad outing there, or if Arkansas had just gone straight to Gabe Gackle, which is what they did last week or on Saturday against Tennessee, maybe that's a different game and maybe you win. And then all of a sudden you're looking at that LSU series and thinking about it as one of the best moments of your season. Arkansas gets their do-over. They get their another chance at it. Zach Root already outpitched Cade Anderson once. Cade Anderson gave up 7 runs the other day. We'll talk about that when it gets to it. I'll be very interested to see if LSU's tempted to pitch Anthony Ianson, because my take on this series is that game 1, we lost it, but I felt good. I was like, you know what, Arkansas could win this exact matchup. I think LSU is happy to have won it, and I don't know if they want to run it back with Cade Anderson.
No. Again, I'm just, they're not going to say it out loud, but I feel like LSU has to be looking at this as like, crap. Like, we got to play Arkansas. We did not want to play Arkansas. We don't want to play Arkansas. But where it stands right now, though, folks, 7 of the 8 spots in Omaha for the College World Series have been decided. We'll be waiting on the game today between Duke and Murray State to see who ends up being that final spot. But how the field looks like right now is that Louisville will be facing off against Oregon State, the Beavers, and as well as Arizona facing off against Coastal Carolina on that side of the bracket. And then you have UCLA, who will be facing off against the winner of Duke and Murray State. And, of course, LSU facing off against Arkansas. So that's kind of what it looks like right now. I think if we would have filled out a preseason College World Series preview, I don't think we would have gotten any of these right, maybe besides Arkansas and LSU, to be honest. I mean, it's crazy how little of SEC representation is officially going to be in there. And as crazy as it is, we talked about the same thing with Tennessee. Whoever wins between Arkansas and LSU, then suddenly an SEC team is 1 game away from elimination, to where you're only going to have 1 team left in the SEC, and it could possibly be after first 2 or 3 days of Omaha. It's going to be a very weird vibe. Let's just hope Arkansas is the 1 team that's left standing.
Yeah, I hope so, man. It just blows me away how that went down. 13 get in, 2 advance, and they face each other in the first game down there. It's ridiculous.
Basketball and baseball like just flipped this past year as far as their advancement in postseason.
Yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah, I think whoever wins Arkansas LSU on Saturday, like I saw someone show the odds in there. Like, whoever wins that game is going to become like maybe even a minus something favorite to win the title. So it's still predicted for an SEC team to win it, but it is funny. The SEC always wins the national title since Oregon State. Oregon State was the last non-SEC team to do it. This is probably the best chance a non-SEC. I mean, this is if a non-SEC team doesn't win it this year, it might not happen for another decade, dude. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I can't wait for it, though. And Arkansas's got a great setup, and we'll keep you updated on it. We're going to be up there in Omaha, and we're going to give you all the details as this week goes along. And once we figure out the schedule, I guess everyone's kind of under the agreement that Arkansas will be Saturday night game, like 6 p.m. game, more than likely against LSU, right?
Yeah, it definitely Saturday. It makes sense looking at the bracket. You know, like they're kind of in that top right or bottom right corner. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure about the time. I mean, it'll either be 1 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm good either way. I'd prefer it not be in the middle of the day and us be scorching hot, but and I would like for that is going to be probably the biggest crowd they've had in Omaha ever.
Oh, dude. Like I already saw Kendall Rogers tweet about it. I think Peter Burns tweeted about it last night. I didn't sleep last night, so I was just looking at Twitter all night. But everyone's just, which people are about happy about Omaha and they're excited, but everyone's just like Arkansas LSU, going to be insane. It's going to be wild. It's going to be, I hate to be this way, but depending on who gets into the finals, if it's not an Arkansas or an LSU, maybe a couple other teams, man, it could be looking, it could look like Baum Walker last season after Arkansas lost their regional, in that regional final between SEMO and Kansas State. Like it could look pretty bleak and everyone's going to be pissed off about it. But yeah, that game, just like this past super regional with Arkansas, Tennessee, that Arkansas LSU game is going to have everyone's eyes on it.
Absolutely. And I will say this. One, I think that Saturday's game very well could determine the national champion. It's also very well could determine who wins the Rocco's Jello Shot Challenge, because either one of those fan bases are going to be heavy favorites. LSU, I think, is the one. I think they have the all-time record. But if they get eliminated, they're not going to be able to win that thing. And so I think we could see an early Arkansas would move to minus 900 to win the Jello Shot Challenge if they win on Saturday,
which is almost as important as winning the whole damn thing.
Yes, true. I mean, if you go home with both trophies, the College World Series championship as well as the Jello Shot Challenge, then you've conquered all. But I mean, here's the deal: if I was looking at the non-SEC teams, I'm just gonna be honest. Louisville probably will have a few fans. They're a pretty good fan base. That Oregon State, unless something changes from when the last time Arkansas played them in 2018 and all that, they bring fans, but it's not anywhere close to the level of an SEC team. I think Arizona will have a good amount of fans. They've been a good baseball program. They've had success. They'll have a Coastal, love them, great story, but it's not they have the fan base that's there. UCLA, they probably don't even know what's going on. They're not going to travel from Los Angeles over to Omaha. They got too many things going on there in LA in case you haven't.
Why would you ever do that? Right.
Yeah, seriously. And then Duke and Murray State, either one of those, not really thinking it's going to be a massive amount. So point is, there'll be fans showing up, all of that, but it's Arkansas LSU. Those are the two teams that everyone's coming to watch. It's going to have the biggest representation of fan bases. And like you said, Andrew, I agree. It's probably going to be the odds-on favorite no matter what. I can't wait for everyone to be like, this is actually the College World Series here. This game is actually the finals between these two teams. So
I remember when Stanford was there in 2022 and they had like 8 Jello shots. It was like such a small number. And obviously they knew they weren't going to win the challenge. But I'm like, who were the table full of Stanford grads that were like, I think we maybe could, I could have one of those Jello shots.
Yep. And then
how do I do this?
Yeah. Comes up this guy. He's like, I might have a Jello shot.
And then they end up having one. They're like, no, I can't do two. Can't do two.
No
Smarts.
more.
Yeah, no more. It's too much for me. It's too much
Check,
for my
please.
kids. Yeah, because that's how Stanford people talk, apparently. But either way, but again, we appreciate it. We'll get into the chat, folks. I know there's a lot of stuff that we're going to react to, and it's going to be very baseball driven, obviously, because Arkansas is going back to Omaha. But let's get to some of these reaction videos, guys. I'm going to start crying again. I'm just going to be honest with you. We got to play this video. We talked a little bit about it yesterday in the Bombastic post-game show, but man, Dave, after the game, get your tissues ready, folks. This is a tough hit.
So happy for everybody involved with the program, especially more than anything the players, because they're the ones that do all the work. They're the ones that win the games, and so happy that they're going to finish this season in Omaha. I don't know. Just means a lot.
Come on, man. That's like if you're a Razorback fan and you don't watch that, how do you not start just getting teary-eyed? Because listen, we know that Razorback fans are disappointed about the past couple seasons, and Dave's never really talked about, last season we think, but in his mind, and it's killed him inside. Even I think went on later in the press conference say like last 2 years have been difficult. He's not the most emotional guy like that in press conferences. He's held it together. It's been business as always, but even he couldn't hold it back. And I love the fact he's got to put that hat in front of him because that's just not who he is. And you can tell how much it meant. So that hit hard for everybody watching that.
Yeah, that tugs at the heartstrings, man. I can't imagine how that must have felt, the last couple years. And I mean, you just think about his career in general, and just the last few years, man, of the near misses and how close they've been, and some of the teams they've had, and it just hasn't worked. For whatever reason, it just goes to show you how freaking hard it is to get to this point, much less win the whole thing. And to see that emotion there, it tugs at the heartstrings. And I mean this in the most heterosexual way possible. I really want to give that man a hug.
Yeah.
I want to he just seems like he needed a hug right there. And I'm happy for him, man. And I hope they continue this ride all the way to the end there. And I can't even imagine what that would feel like, and then what kind of emotions we'd see from him if they get it done.
Man, we're all gonna be so emotional, man. Like
We're
you can already like feel it and taste it, but good Lord, man, this means a lot, man. And I know we everyone knows the story, and I'm sure some are just sick of hearing about it, about how Dave, played for Norm DeBryan here at Arkansas, and Norm DeBryan, who took over a program that pretty much was a nothing burger. I mean, it's not that Arkansas didn't play baseball before Norm DeBryan, but it really wasn't a program that had any relevance or anything to write home about. And to see him turn it into a nationally relevant program and make it a competitor that's on that big stage. He took him to Omaha 4 times, and then he's able to hand the keys to Dave, who played for him, coached under him, learned from him, and he's able to just take it and run with it and take it to what it is now. I just think when Dave, obviously this team has its own journey, and this team alone, if you just started the movie there, it's a great story, but the story is so much deeper than that, especially for Dave, he's grown up with this program. And I remember him talking in his Hall of Fame speech about how when he was a kid, he just used to wear an Arkansas hat, and he just, for whatever reason, he's Arkansas. He sees himself in Arkansas. He always wanted to be here, and he's not even from the state. He's from the Kansas City area, but he just always gravitated to it and wanted to be in this spot. And now he's gotten his opportunity, and he's run with it. And he just, everything that Arkansas baseball is, he's watched it happen. And I'm so glad that Norm's been able to be such a close part of it, to see that vision that he's had for the program, because both of these men basically just willed this thing into existence, man. I mean, it's 2 head coaches over the course of 50 years. That's special. And so it's like, obviously, anytime anyone wins a national title, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of people that contribute. There's a lot of emotion that is involved. But this Arkansas story is a little bit different. There's not really much like it in sports that have this specific storyline of 50 years worth of 2 men working to make this happen, to see it culminate. And it's pretty, I can't think of anything like it in sports, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it hits different when, especially if you've been a Razorback baseball fan your whole life and kind of know Dave, and like you said, know the story of what it is. But you didn't see it really as much in that video, but shout out to Chuck Davalon, Charles Davalon, sitting next to him. And when he starts cracking, he just kind of looks over at him. You can tell he's like, what is this? Like, he didn't, it's not that he was judging or anything, but he's just like, I wasn't expecting this. So he gets his hand and puts it behind coach, say, hey, all good. So that's great. That's great to see. Because with Davalon, this is his first year here. It's not like he's been riding with Dave for 4 years and having this long term. This guy's like, man, we love this dude, and we're going to win it for him. And it was just really, really cool and really great to see. So win it for Dave. Win it for Dave. That's what it all needs to be about. But on a more fun note, I love this after the players talk. Again, there's so many things we can react to. But as we all know, Cam Kojal is from Omaha. And I don't know if you guys heard about that story, but he is from Omaha. And in the press conference, this was just outstanding stuff here from Kojal, man.
Where are we going?
We're going to Omaha.
Going home.
Sleep over at the Kojal's.
I have to double bunk or something because it's not a very big house.
You can say
We'll make it all work.
Oh, dude, I love that so much, man. That was great because he screamed into the microphone. I'm sure just blew out the earbuds of everybody where he just yelled in earlier and just going to Omaha. But yeah, I just love this. A sleepover at the Kojal's house because he gets to go back home. So that was outstanding from the players. I mean, they were excited, but that was great to have that.
It was pretty funny. So we might have to double bunk or something. It was hilarious watching Dave through all that. He kind of had that crooked grin on the side of his face there, like he was trying to think of something real witty to say, and then he just goes, "Yeah." That's pretty good.
I love that, man. Cam Kojal's. I mean, and again, like to make it serious and emotional again, like everybody has their own story. We told, there's the Dave story and there's the Norm side, but like all these guys on this team, Davalon's a kid from freaking Canada who's found a home in Arkansas. And for Kojal, you can see how fired up he is. I mean, he's been thinking about this every day, he says. And by the way, this is Cam Kojal, who wants to father 20 children, wants to go back to a farm in Nebraska one day and have 20 children. And I'm sure he's going to tell all those 20 children about these times and about how special that is. And like everyone kind of has their own unique motivation, but it's so cool to see that. You can see him do the mental math, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna have to double bunk that house. I don't know if we can fit the whole team in here.
Yeah. So I wonder if it'll be really fun if they do something to where they do have like the whole team over at his house like that they have to do some sort of content with that. That'll be great. But yeah, players are all fired up and everything. I'm going to see, I didn't name the videos because I'm stupid, but it's, I believe this was also something that happened after the game. The celebration. I'll tell you this. This is a little highlight that Arkansas baseball put up on their social media account, kind of touring all of the celebrations and all the different shenanigans that they got into. So we can just kind of go through that. But this was outstanding.
By Fouch, 2-2 pitch. He struck him out swinging. Omaha for the Razorbacks in 2025. Back where they belong. The Hogs vanquish the Volunteers. Do you believe?
All right, let's stop it right there. What'd y'all make of the call from Phil Elson? You know, we talked about the call. How was the call?
Vanquish the Vols. I love it.
I like the vanquish the Vols.
Good alliteration. Yeah. It's good.
I think, 2019, like we talked about it a lot. I think that's the only year where he like really tried to like script it and like full on like give a thing. He kept it business-like. You know, he didn't do it like they got to the mountaintop. He did it like it was like a business-like, you know, disrespect. We're excited. They're going to Omaha, but he didn't.
Back where they belong.
He's got a separate call in mind for later in the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here in a few weeks, we're going to hear about it too. Can't wait for that. But continuing on the celebration, though.
The Razorbacks are headed to the College World Series for the 12th time in program history. And, folks, they did it in utter dominant fashion. 5-0 through the region.
Okay, so we're going to, again, we could talk about this, but just to set this up, Arkansas players was very interactive with the fans afterwards. And it was all because of the quietest dude of all on the baseball team, Behiva Aloy. It was his idea. It was what he wanted to do. And so he led the charge on the Razorbacks going through and hanging out and celebrating with the fans. This was just really cool.
Jills and the Supers. Make your plans for the College World Series. The Hogs are headed to Nebraska next weekend. And how sweet it is.
Going to Lake North with the trophy, gonna baptize it.
We'll get into that part. We'll get into that part in a second. But okay, how cool was that though, guys? Seeing the players, because I think we talked with our guy Forrest yesterday, and some of the fans out there at Foghorns. We've seen basketball players go up into the stands, you know, like after big celebration games. We've seen football even kind of do some stuff. Haven't seen much of baseball because it's just not that sport. But how what'd y'all think of that, of Behiva Aloy leading the charge, but also just going through the concourse and into the hog pen?
It's something, man. And it's kind of funny because we didn't see everything right away. And, you know, a bunch of people were in the chat on yesterday's show, and it was like, oh, no hog pile, no celebration. It's all business. It was a pretty healthy celebration there, man. And I've seen, you know, mostly Tennessee fans on Twitter that were like, what was this their Super Bowl? I mean, they're acting like they just won the whole damn thing. There's more work to be done. But what people don't understand is, for a lot of the fans that were there today, they can't afford to go to Omaha. They can't take the time off of work to go to Omaha. They're not going to be able to do that. And it's a celebration of the people that have been out there supporting them game in and game out from the time, you know, from February, where it was 30 degrees and windy and, you know, borderline snowing out there, to the heat and everything in between. And for them to do that and show their appreciation going through the concourse, I thought that was freaking awesome, man. I think it was in great taste. Was really, really cool. Everybody got the high fives. And yeah, for Behiva to be leading the charge there, not who I would have expected by any means, but I absolutely love it, man. I thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah, I loved hearing the players talk about it in the press conference. I think Cam said, he was like, we thought we were going to do the, you know, around the warning track, you know, which is what they normally do. They do a lap around the stadium inside the confines. And he said, he's like, nobody even questioned it. Like, they saw him go in and they're like, all right, let's just follow him. You know, let's get in line. Our guy's going out there. Let's go. I love that. This was not some planned thing. Of course, Vahiva Loy is not the type of guy to put everyone in a group text and say, hey, when we win, we're going to go do that or whatever. He didn't have to say anything. I don't think any coach pointed and was like, hey, y'all should go in the crowd. But these players want to give back to those fans, man. And I think about all these players who, like Vahiva, I mean, these Hawaiian kids that have come here and they've just found a home at Arkansas. And that means so much to them, and it means so much to us to have them and get to watch them. But think about how at home they feel. And then you think about all these other guys. I mean, Charles Davalon's from Canada. Brent Iredale's from Australia. Logan Maxwell's from Ohio. You can go on down the line. All of these guys that came from all over the world that come to Fayetteville and they found a home. And it means that's not just something you say oh yeah, I just play baseball here and I'm going to move on. Chris Lanzilli, dude from Boston, he's as fired up for this team as he was for when he played on the team. And it's that's the kind of atmosphere you have at Baum. And that's what this program means, man. And that's why it means a little bit more to some of these guys at Arkansas, man. Everyone who plays and everyone who's a part of it at all, from the fans to the players to the support staff, everybody, it means that much to them. And I just think about how many fans that got to interact with them that were kind of stunned. I mean, everyone we talked to, like you said, John, they were we couldn't believe they were doing it. Nobody's ever done that. That's not even something you thought would happen. It's not it's not like we were talking about it oh, you think they'll go to the hog pen after the game? It was cool to see that just happen organically. And I think about all the kids who probably got to see that and are going to be inspired by that are going to be able to, we're in 10 years, we're going to be covering them and they're going to be I remember when Vahiva Loy came and slapped my hand, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And also to it, I know we talk about the crazies over there at the hog pen and people camping out and all that. You got to admit that whether you think it's cool or not, whether you think it's lame or not, whatever it is, there's no doubt that the amount of time people have of camping out and sitting out there in the direct sun, for hours and hours, it's craziness, but it's what they do. And I'm sure that probably meant a lot to them. And it kind of shows, because if you're a player, especially if you're here for this 1 year, those people are wacko out there. Okay, you guys cheer for us and all that stuff, but you're insane. We don't even know if we want to deal with you out there. But to go out there and be hey, here's a nice little reward for your patronage of being out here in the blistering sun, and all of you are probably dehydrated beyond belief, and you got sun all over you. It's just that was a cool thing to see, where I'm sure that was appreciated of because they don't get to interact with the players much because they're so far out there and far away from the action. That was awesome, because it's not like the football team can go up into the nosebleeds or the basketball team goes up into the nosebleeds. Mm-hmm. The hog pen's kind of the nosebleeds of Baum Walker. So to go out there with the common folk who just got their chairs and coolers and a lack of sunscreen, that I know that they appreciated that and they loved that. So
yeah, that was awesome, man. I can't remember who it was, but one of them was yeah, man, we were out there in the hog pen. Somebody spilled their beer on me. I didn't care. It's just it's just awesome, man. So happy that they did that, and it, man, just feels like something's brewing here, boys.
Yep.
Yeah, it does feel special, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, Curtis, about how this is their last time playing at home, and so it's yeah, you certainly are going to save the big parade for the ultimate one, but it was cool just in the final game at Baum this year for it to be that movie-like. It's awesome. Comparing it to last year's in Baum, where you're watching Brady Slavens patting all the signs and he's all sad, and it's because we've seen that. I mean, you remember the video we saw whenever the 2021 team got eliminated. You just see Patrick Wiglander sitting there at the mound, just doesn't want to leave. Yep. It's that. There's the other side of that coin that's a lot. So when you have that opportunity to celebrate like that, you got to live it up, and they certainly did that.
Yeah, they did. But I think this is a better view of what we were about to witness there with the celebrations, because it didn't end going up the stairs into the stands. It didn't end into the concourse. It didn't end going into the hog pen. There was a lot more celebration that needed to happen. I think every single element and part of Baum Walker Stadium and the surroundings were represented in the celebration, and this was, of course, the latest one, as the players wanted to go out there to that body of water, Lake Norm, however you want to put it, and celebrate with that too. Steele Eves, by the way, who is being cheered on, and yep, there's ducks that are flying, rolling around back there. I don't know what elements are on his uniform, but shout out to Lone Oak, man, because he was out there jumping. I don't know if anybody's ever done anything close to that, but that was also a nice little capper of the whole circle I wish the whole team would have done it, but hey, Steel Eaves does it. I think Dave even said after in the press conference, he's a country boy, man. He wouldn't be afraid of a cottonmouth out there or snapping turtle. He probably would have caught it too. So nice little capper there for Steel Eaves.
That's 100% right. I was about to say, knowing where he's from, that ain't the first random body of water he's jumped in. So
yeah, you can take the boy out of Lone Oak, but it is cool. And honestly, man, like I'm not a super outdoorsy guy, despite being from a small town, but I love how much this team just like loves the mud, like a true pig, man. That looked disgusting. Like I wouldn't do that. I'm just gonna tell you right now. Like it would have to be like something drastic for me to jump in that pond. No telling what kind of disgusting stuff's in there.
No. And I love how, what was it? Our guy, Mark Taylor, the equipment manager for the Razorbacks, just like as soon as that happened, he came back. I was like, don't worry. We washed the uniform and it was looking pristine, that gray. Yeah, it was just, again, it was one of those deals, Tino, as we know, guys, when we're doing content and if something's just going really good, you can put out anything and it's going to just boom, explode. When you get to go to the College World Series in Omaha, if you're Razorback baseball, it doesn't matter what you do. You can jump into a pond and it becomes the coolest thing ever. You can run into the stands. It's the coolest thing ever. You can do what Dylan Fouch did. I won't say what he looked like. He mouthed over to the Tennessee dugout, but, doing the Arkansas thing. In other circumstances, it's probably not cool, but everyone's like, yeah, it's the greatest thing ever. You know why? Because you're going to Omaha. Everything's the coolest thing ever when you're going to Omaha. So that's what made it so much fun. All right, we'll go ahead because I know there's going to be some other things too, but we're going to get into the chats here on the show because still have a lot of reactions. We had so many yesterday on the Bombastic Post game, which was incredible. Shout out to Foghorns and everybody that was hanging out with us. It was an awesome time. But let's go ahead and get into the chat presented by our friends over at Basis Health, where they're changing the way healthcare is delivered by providing mobile medical visits to the comfort of your very own home. A doctor will come to your home for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, and so much more. And I know a lot of you people out there in the hog pen probably need a little bit of that IV hydration. So give Basis Health a call. They are here for you when and where you need them the most. You can learn more at basishealth.org today. Shout out to our guy Dre for that partnership. What's up, Andrew?
Before we get into the chat, I just want to wave goodbye to Mr. James. We got his ass out of here. There's we go back and forth with the chat a lot, and there's so many people that we just love interacting with every day, and we have such a great time. So many people that are just normal, rational human beings. But we have some that just poke at us and just are never happy no matter what. And I am not going to miss his presence.
Not today, Satan.
Yeah, I'm about to say vibes are only good today. And if you're going to be that person, then I'm not. Again, I want to say what I really want to say, but I'm not going to say it. So that's okay. But yes, glad to see that go. But shout out to T Razorback, Trazorback, everyone say for the super chat. Appreciate it. Says, get some Jello shots on me, boys. What flavor Jello shot is everyone getting, and what liquor are you choosing with it if you could choose?
What usually goes in a Jello shot?
I always thought it was vodka.
Vodka, yeah, right. It's those Jello shots. Any Jello shot is not going to have a lot of alcohol in it. I know some people will make theirs a certain way or whatever. I don't think it really matters, but I don't know. What's the go-to flavor?
I don't know. I mean, does anyone actually know flavors? I know the colors. There's green, red.
Blue, red, green. What are we?
Yeah. It's like,
I feel like we got to do whatever the red is.
Yeah. I feel like it's fair. Like who's going in there and be like, before I order that red Jello shot over there, could you tell me the fruit flavor that it is first? Oh, strawberry? Nah, I was looking for raspberry. I'm sorry. I can't. Like, no one cares. It's a Jello shot. You base it on the color. That's all that matters. But I think that there'll probably be a few consumed there at Rocco's this upcoming week. And hopefully for at least 10 or so days by Razorback fans. So let's hope so. But appreciate the super chat there. Our guy Garrett, shout out, HD Roofing. But he says, my woman said, and I quote, I'm so tired of hearing their voices. LOL. She's stuck in a 10-hour car ride with me listening to the best media Arkansas has ever seen. Love the boys. Woo Pig Suey. Well, appreciate you, Garrett. And tell your woman you're welcome.
You love it, Lady Garrett.
Yeah.
Lady Garrett. When she's not Lady McCollum, we can go into that.
I don't know. I don't know if she is or not. Like, I don't want to,
assume
put a ring on it for him. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. But no, I always love, we've had a few of these now over the years where like the wives that are like, oh, I have to listen to you all the time. They say something to us. It's always nice. The night I caught that sick foul ball at Bomb Walker, I was sitting right in front of a couple. And then like whenever her guy went to the bathroom, she was like, hey, like he didn't want to say anything, but like, we listen to you every day. So you just want to shout you out. Curtis, I'll never get those people that said what up to us in Fort Worth. We appreciate the wags.
That's so funny, man.
Also, shout out to Pigman. He just goes, "Go Hogs" for super chat.
Amen.
Simple enough.
Appreciate
Well,
you.
indeed.
Hey, they should send Pigman like a something for playing the boots in stadium, man. That was awesome.
Yeah. And also, actually, I'm going to save that for my best of the weekend because I want to bring up something about that when it comes to the way that the baseball team and the surrounding things of the baseball team handle themselves compared to other things. So, but yeah. Also, Pigman said Kojo really embodies what it means to be a hog. And which, I mean, yeah, it's easy to say when it's everyone wins because you want everybody to succeed and be that way. But you could tell, like, just Kojo in his journey, everybody's journey. I mean, that's crazy is you have so many interesting stories behind a lot of these players. You know, I know we've talked about it, guys, and yesterday, but it's like a Logan Maxwell. Like the dude was at TCU. He's very quiet. It's not like he's this physical specimen, but he's killing it at the plate. You know, you got Chuck Davalon and what he went through, and Zach Root and where he came from. There's just so many cool stories to this team and what has made them so successful. So, yeah, but I agree with you there.
Junior year Cam Kozel is going to feed families.
Yes.
I mean, he might hit 700 next year. I don't know if he'll get out.
Spikes, you know.
Yeah.
We might. Arkansas might have all three finalists. It might be just him, Helfert, Gackle. It might just have to be who it is.
Yeah, might have to. Shout out to Noah. Appreciate the super chat. He goes, the team was on Dixon when the highlights came on, and they went absolutely nuts last night. I assume he says, so cool. Can confirm Big Country drinks Busch Light. What a surprise. Oh, man. Out in the man. That's okay.
What are we dry snitching
for? I respect it.
Yeah, I listen.
Listen, now, if Big Country's not going to have country music as a walk-up, which, by the way, he has two really good walk-up songs, but neither of them are country. He shaved the mustache. At least drinking Busch Light, that's pretty country.
Yeah, that's very country.
Probably the one with the corn on the can.
Yeah.
Oh, it has to be. Either that or the camo can.
Or the camo can. Yeah.
You want to talk about corn? I'll show you corn next week, Curtis.
I can't wait.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of that going around. All right, so continuing on with your chats and everything. Our guy Hayden, appreciate you, Hayden, says, will Jay Johnson be smart enough to throw their rights instead of Anderson on Friday?
Listen, I understand, like, LSU's had a very clear formula. Like, LSU's been the team that Arkansas fans have looked at and been like, man, we wish we had that starting pitching because you got Cade Anderson on Friday and Anthony Ianson on Saturday. Very similar numbers. They've gone in that order. They haven't deviated from it at all. If I were Jay Johnson, I would be throwing Anthony Ianson, who struck out 11 hogs, and I don't think he gave up a run. Maybe one run. But Cade Anderson pitched pretty well against Arkansas, but for whatever reason, Arkansas just doesn't mind hitting against really good left-handed pitchers. And I don't think Cade Anderson is as good as Liam Doyle, who Arkansas just embarrassed for the second time.
Also, a Big Lefty wants to know, DVH versus Tony Vitello, what is the overall record?
2-13 on the side of of Tony Vitello.
2-13.
I almost called him TVH somehow. I just almost said TVH. I don't know why.
I mean, he might as well be because he got adopted and he is the son of.
Let's just give him a horn when he becomes the Hog head coach. We can just be like Tony Vitello Horn.
Yep, Tony Van Horn. He's just gonna whatever it takes.
Adopt him. Yeah, I mean he is his father, so I mean he might as well adopt him.
Exactly. Let's see. Our guy Will says Hogs have got to win it all. DVH crying in his presser is going to have this team ready to run through a brick wall. I think it's got everybody ready to run through a brick wall. But yeah. I agree.
I think it was Davalon sitting next to him, and he's like, I mean, we want to win this for him. Nobody deserves this more. And yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see. Also, Ryan McDaniel says, what the hell is up, boys? Sorry I missed you guys at Foghorns, but we were so wiped out of 5 hours in the sun. Understandable. And we still had a 5-hour drive ahead of us. Catch you next time. Well, we'll see you in Omaha, Ryan.
Man, I wish we would have saw you. I felt wiped out after the weekend. When I got home last night, I was like, man, I'm going to absolutely crash. I had to record the pod at the Palace real quick. I was like, when I get this done, I'm going to sleep. And that's what I did. And I slept for about 90 minutes and I've just been up since. It's just, I just don't think the sleep's not really going to be a big part of the equation here for the next couple weeks,
Well, you also better get used to not sleeping much.
That's exactly right.
Other things coming down the pipe. But yeah, I think I got 6 hours of sleep last night, which may not sound like a lot. In this business, that is a lot of sleep. That is a great night of sleep. And so I'll take what I can get. But yeah, I think we're all kind of like the adrenaline, the up and down. It's very emotional. It takes a lot out of you. And so you got to take care of yourself. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I got, I think 2.5 hours, I think is a solid show.
That's not my average for the last few weeks.
Yeah, same. Let's see. Also, Finch says, let me just say I find it odd and maybe a little too coincidental for us to have probably the hardest road to the show than anybody else, but let's keep grinding. So, been difficult. I mean, it's never going to be easy no matter what. Because here's the deal. Like last year, we talked about it. Oh, it looked like Arkansas had an easier road. Well, it didn't happen that way. Arkansas's had a difficult road, which they have. But guess what? You're undefeated. So, I mean, is it really going to be the most difficult road if you end up winning all the games? I don't know. I don't know if you can make that argument anymore.
Honestly, really all it is that just things that were supposed to happen happened. Like you
Right.
actually faced the number 14 team, which was Tennessee, who, Tennessee's better than 14, but like they had a season that yields itself to a 14 seed. Same with LSU. Like they're the 6 overall team. They just made it there. And so there's a lot of, usually when you get the easy draw, it's because teams lost. But I think Arkansas's regional draw kind of made up for it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too. Shout out to Ben George for the super chat. Appreciate it. He says, in 5 guys right now, Marcus Phillips and some other Tennessee pitchers just walked in. Should I moon? Guest flight was booked for for tonight. LOL. No. Well, it probably was booked. I don't think they could get on an early flight. Sure, they flew private, we would think, right?
I don't know. Or maybe he's just hanging out.
Yeah, maybe you have to schedule the private flights though. And they're like, we got to stick around Monday night.
Only big time.
Yeah.
Only big time programs can have those private jets on command and on demand when they want them. So only big programs can do that.
Let me ask you don't want to wind up on a registry.
No.
Be careful.
If Marcus Phillips gained like 30 pounds, little Myles Garrett-y, huh? He looks like Myles Garrett.
Interesting.
And he's a big old donkey too. I mean, especially for a pitcher. Like he would be, he could play football, but on a baseball field, he looks massive. Kind of reminds me of Kumar Rocker. He was like just whose dad played in the NFL, but like just massive. You're starting to see some of these just freak athletes that are like, you know what? I want to throw 99. I don't want to get 12 sacks off the edge.
Right.
Yeah, I have to look at his face again and look at it, but maybe. I mean, he's a big dude though. He's a big athlete. Paddlefish says, given that we lose game 1, how confident that you that we could win 4 straight? Well, I'll tell you this right now. For me, at 1, I don't want even to speak this in existence of them losing game 1. But 2, not very confident at all because winning 2 games in a row is difficult in College World Series. 4 in a row, I'm not going to be confident about it. Doesn't mean that we'll lose the next game, but I'm not going to be confident in it.
Right. It's definitely not an easy thing to do by any means, but I will say the way that this Arkansas team is constructed, with the way that they can swing it and then the depth of that pitching, if there were a team that could navigate it, they probably have the best case scenario for being able to get through it. It doesn't mean it would happen or that I'd feel great about it by any means, but they at least have the ingredients of a team who could do it. Some teams, like if they go down there and drop game 1 or whatever, and you get put in that position, you're just done and you know it. Like, at least Arkansas's got a puncher's chance to come out of that with all the arms they have.
Yeah, nobody's in a good position when you have to win 4 straight. Like nobody's built to do it necessarily, but you're right. Like Arkansas is as close to equipped to doing it with the arms they have. I mean, think about all these every single weekend in the NCAA tournament. We're like, man, there's like 4 arms they didn't get to use. Like Arkansas would have to use Will McIntyre. They'd have to use Dylan Carter. They'd have to use Ben Bybee. They'd have to use Landon Bidleseed, everybody. But they have enough guys that you feel confident in that could get the job done. Honestly, if you ask me, like the important thing of that equation, so if say you lose to LSU, then you're going to play likely Murray State, Duke. Then you'll probably have to beat UCLA, who LSU will beat in the winner's bracket game. It's important in those 2 games because you'll eventually have to beat LSU twice. In those 2 games, you really need to blow out at least one of them and not use a ton of arms. Like Gage Wood needs to just give you 6-7 innings against Murray State or whatever it is. Like you need to be able to, like, you have to kind of plan ahead, which is not what you want to do and not really what you can afford to do in an elimination game. But that's what it would come down to for me, is that if Arkansas could get to that 2-game stretch with LSU, I think Arkansas could beat LSU twice in a row. I think Arkansas could beat LSU once in a row, 3. Like anytime they play, I think they can win. But it would really come down to if Arkansas could get through those other 2 games without having to empty the clip.
Yep, and also shout out to Miss Woo Piggy, aka Dan's Van, for the super chat. Appreciate you. I'm just always impressed that y'all can stay sober, or at least sound sober, for the post game shows.
I mean, we don't drink in the games. When we know we have to do a post-game show, we're not like, even if we do, it's like pre-game, like 1 beer or something like that. We're definitely not like just throwing back hard liquor in the 6th inning or anything like that. We'll have a couple drinks after, which is what we did last night.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, for as much as we've been in Foghorns the last 2 weekends, we really didn't drink much.
We
we really didn't. Yesterday in celebration, we broke bread and had a couple cold ones, but yeah, we actually didn't really get that crazy.
It's the business approach, just
That's
like
right.
the Razorback baseball team, business, standing on business. Also, appreciate the super chat from Flying Blind here. Appreciate it. It says Hog Eye here. Okay. It says, thank you, John, for the ticket. Thank you, Andrew, for following me back. And thank you, Curtis, for threatening him into it. Trying to get the Omaha Eye to Charles Schwab Saturday. Whoop Pixie. Well, you're welcome for the ticket, my man. You're welcome for the ticket.
And also, I knew, like, if I didn't know your name, but when Curtis said Flying Blind, I was like, oh yeah, I know Flying Blind. I'll go throw him a follow back because I know I know you've been supporting, you've been rocking with us for a while.
Oh yeah.
I didn't just follow you because Curtis put a gun to my head, although he did do that.
Sometimes it's tough, man, when if you go by your actual name on Twitter or here on YouTube, like if it doesn't match your YouTube name, sometimes we just don't know. And then I feel bad, because if I see a name come through and I recognize it, I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. But if it's different, than the alias or the moniker you have in here, sometimes we just don't know. You might just have to slide on into the DMs and be like, hey, big head, it's actually me.
Yeah. No, we appreciate when people like give us the aliases when they introduce themselves to us. So we do appreciate that. So that way we know.
Helps a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Just a few more here because I know we'll get to best and worst of the weekend. But shout out to Jacoda, says this has been a great first spring for the Inside Arkansas company and brand. Yeah, it is. It is pretty great when Arkansas sports do really well for our business. But we even talked about it the other day. I guess it was yesterday with Razorback basketball making it to the Sweet 16. Would have been nice if they made it further. But yeah, that was obviously incredible and a great run to be there for. And then on the other side of it too, having baseball get back to Omaha has been awesome. So make it last as long as humanly possible because dog days of summer don't exist when you're a champion. And hopefully Arkansas finds a way.
Well, dang it, we earned this one. The first spring for the last regime that we shall not name here went as poorly as it possibly could. The basketball team tanked for the first time in years. Baseball gets thrown out of their own freaking stadium by SEMO. So we will absolutely take this one and shove the others into the annals of history that we'll never speak of again.
Absolutely. I mean, we had a combined 3 postseason games last year between basketball and baseball. We had 3 in basketball alone, and that was across 2 weekends. That was a lot of fun. We got minimum 7 for baseball. I mean, it's great times. It's nice to actually be able to work through. I know, and people don't normally say this. It's nice to be working in mid-June, because a lot of times all year long, people are like, oh, hey, we might go to the beach this weekend. Hey, we might have my bachelor party this weekend. I'm like, if it's in mid-June, I cannot plan anything. I cannot make plans in mid-June. And so it sucks when Arkansas doesn't go to Omaha because then you're like, damn, now I don't have an excuse. I was about to have to go to my nephew's baseball tournament in Broken Bow, Oklahoma next weekend if Arkansas didn't make it. But now they're there. And so it's like, all right, I'm all good.
Bow for you.
Not that I wouldn't want to go see my nephew play, but let's just be honest. Between Oklahoma, Broken Bow, Oklahoma, not to be confused with Broken Arrow, by the way, between Broken Bow, Oklahoma, and Omaha, that's an easy decision.
Also, a shout out to Luke where he just says it's year 2030. We reminisce on winning the championship in Omaha, but most importantly, it was the first year of Inside Arkansas.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Well, I like this a lot, Luke.
Technically. So we'll take it. Yeah. First
academic year. We get a Liberty Bowl championship. We get a Sweet 16 and we get a national championship. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Trajectory is just going up. You're up football next. You're going to have to win a championship now. Also Beavers 87 says, good luck in Omaha Hogs. I hope we meet up again. Go Beavs. Shut up.
I hope we do too, Beavers.
How about that? I really would love to, I would love for that. That would be storybook stuff. I mean, they would have to make a movie about this after. I mean, this would be the next great baseball movie. It would replace Field of Dreams and Moneyball and all that as the best.
Man, that would the stress. Let's just hope hope it is that story and not the story of like when the Patriots would play the Giants in the Super Bowl, where it's like no matter what they'd still lose. Like let's hope it's not that.
If they made a movie of Arkansas baseball run, we would probably get cast in it, right? Or at least there would be people that were like doing like we would get some type of shout out, right?
Yeah, they'd have like literally the worst people and villains play our roles, as we were the ones that hated everyone and hated the program. And
I think they get Bradley Cooper to play me, probably.
That's
yeah,
what I was thinking.
yeah. I mean,
Adam Sandler to play Curtis.
I'd probably have Shane Gillis play me. So yeah, just it would be, I'm sure, very complimentary and very flattering if they did that. So all right, so again, we'll get to more of your chats here, folks, and everything. We appreciate you. Let's go ahead and jump into, of course, recapping what was the best and worst of the weekend, presented by our friends over at Looper Auction and Realty, where you all are needing to sell your homes, your investment properties. Don't wait months, don't wait years. Sell your home the auction way. No repairs, no contingencies, no drawn out negotiations at all. You set the terms, buyers compete for it, and you walk away with a firm closing date. It's that simple. Whether it's your home, an estate, or investment property, the auction method puts you in control and gets it sold fast. So call Looper Auction and Realty today at 479-996-4848. That's 479-996-4848, or visit looperauction.com. It's Looper Auction and Realty, sold in 30, closed in 30. And really happy to know that they are going to be an official College World Series sponsor of Bombastic as well. So really good shout out to Looper Auction and Realty for being partners with us here at Inside Arkansas. All right, throwing it out to best and worst of the weekend. I mean, me and Curtis were talking about before the show. It's really hard to find worst, considering how great it was for Arkansas baseball and everything. But I did want to start with my best, something that we didn't talk about, but I made sure to troll everything about it. We saw the celebrations. We saw the everything that went on with it and how awesome it was. I want to play this real quick from Tony Vitello, from the guy who Razorback fans feel a certain way about. This was his press conference, and he was asked about, and I believe this is Daniel Shee, guys, that asked him this question. At least it sounds like him. I could be wrong. But listen to Tony Vitello's voice and his response here.
I guess, obviously, you know, your history with this place. Anything with Coach Van Horn post-game?
Well, I was quick to talk to him. I told him I'd come back and meet him around. So he ran off, but on accident. I don't think he knew that's what I meant. So we're however many times we shook hands, we've had two bad come back around there deals. That's a joke. But so you know, I don't know. Hopefully, I didn't look bad in front of my team. I miss some of those guys. So they deserve to win. Certainly would like to beat them. I think maybe we play them next year. But some of those guys said things they didn't have to say, and I think there's a mutual respect there. There's a coach in our league that anytime he sees you on the road always says, I know we're supposed to hate each other, but I have a lot of respect for you guys. And, you know, depending on the day, you like it. Sometimes you don't like it, but I think it's well thought out. This league is insane, especially in our sport, what it'll do to you. And I think we all have a certain amount of respect for each other. But as you mentioned, I've got time here. And while I was here, I was just as big of a knucklehead as I am now, but I tried to work my ass off. And it's a good place to work.
Tony V is going to look so good in Razorback red, guys. I cannot
wait. Good place to work, man. He likes working at the University of Arkansas. That's literally what he said.
That was very much a sell me this pin moment right there for the job interview. So,
I mean, listen, I love that video. I also love like all things he said about, you know, he didn't want to look bad in front of his team and, you know, the mutual respect and all that and how they always have good interactions. I mean, listen, we'll one day we'll really do the conversation of is Tony V going to be the coach and all that. And I look forward to that day. That's going to be a hectic, awesome time period. If Tony Vitello doesn't actually have any interest in being the head coach at Arkansas, he's done a very good job of planting as many possible seeds to pretty much come right out and say, I really like that is a cool thing to me. Like that is a cool job to me. He always talks about Dave Van Horn. He always talks about the Arkansas fan base. And again, this dude is a troll. He very well could be trolling, but this is a epic several year long troll. And I'll be honest with you. It doesn't guarantee that he's going to be the head coach at Arkansas, but he's not lying when he's like, listen, I have a lot of really good friends in the state of Arkansas. I miss a lot of those guys. I'm sure he was talking about Bobby Wernes, by the way, who he, you know, coached and has a very good relationship. Like, I think seeing these guys reminds him of a lot of the lessons he learned and a lot of the best times in his life. And, like anybody who thinks like he has zero interest, I just don't understand how you could come to that conclusion. Not saying he's guaranteed going to take the job, but it's like, I don't know what else people have to hear before they realize it's kind of a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, for crying out loud, after they won the championship last year, the College World Series title, in his press conference, like the first thing he brings up is Dave Van Horn in Arkansas and goes on about him. So, yeah, the amount of things that he said, that's where it really comes into play. It's like, man, like you said, Andrew, you can't look at all the all the evidence and all the body of work and just think that there would be zero inclination of him even being interested in leaving for Arkansas. Like, there's just no form of that. I still think he's going to be the coach. I'm going to say he's going to be the coach until proven otherwise. But either way, hate the way that the antics are, hate the way that the team plays, you can hate Tony Vitello, whatever it is, but you cannot deny the fact that he loves Arkansas, he loves Dave Van Horn, and he respects the crap out of him. And for that, I appreciate him. So that, to me, among all the other things, but I love that from the best of the weekend for me.
There's a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
Yesterday, like just all across the board, man. Like, I mean, I know it's a big deal and everything, but I do like, comparatively speaking, seem like a lot of emotions being worn on the sleeves. So
is there is that something with the moon and the stars? Is there some type of you know what I mean? Like one of those like
I know, man.
I don't know the terminology, but like y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, yeah. I do. I do know.
Mercury in retrograde.
It's very interesting how all that's happened there. Yeah, I mean it's tough to go anywhere else for a best of the weekend than just literally everything we've mentioned that we sat here and talked about for the last hour with just how it all went down, and the celebrations and the emotion on Dave there and all that. It's hard to beat. If I was to add to it, selfishly, I just enjoyed seeing the camera continuously panning over to Liam Doyle after he got yanked, and it's just pass ball, hit by pitch, grand slam, and he just has to sit there and watch. And it's the look on his face is like, man, that's a rough one, And then of all the antics of Fisher throughout the course of the year, and then he had his moments, like he hit the home run in game one, is kind of inconsequential, but just for him to get, and not even the whole deal with Root, showing him up and stuff, but when he rang him up on that 99-mile-an-hour fastball, and it kind of reminded me, we talked about this the other day, of that era of Major League Baseball where you had Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, like those big sluggers who were up there, and then you had the juiced up pitchers who were trying to throw it by him. It was like a kind of watered down version of one of those matchups, but like he's just swinging absolutely out of his shoes, and Root's out there, and he's like, man, I'm not trying to do too much here. I'm just going to rear back and blow it by you, dude. And that was just a really incredible moment for me. And it's definitely one that I'm going to remember. I'm going to remember that strikeout way more than I'm going to remember the double play and him yelling at him and all that stuff. But that moment, that at bat with the strikeout, I thought was electric, man.
I mean, listen, we talk about velocity a lot, and like, it speaks for itself. When a guy throws 100, it's like, hey, we all can realize that's cool. And I know some fans probably, do the thing where they're like, I don't care how hard you throw, it's about making pitches and blah, blah, blah. And that's all true. But I just want people to understand how weird it is to have a pitcher who, we've seen Zach Root's velocity fluctuate throughout his career. He's had games where he's 92, 94. He's touched 97. He touched 97 last week. In the Tennessee game, he was 93, 95, almost every single pitch of the game. And then to just flash 99 like that is not a normal thing that happens. This also was not the first inning, because sometimes you see that a guy come out and he's 97, 99 in the first inning, and then all of a sudden he's 94, 95. To do the third and fourth, like, it was just bizarre. And for him to not run out of gas and expend all that energy and all that emotion and to still come out there and pitch every other inning was unbelievable, man. And like, that takes a lot of talent. Like, you have to be a very talented pitcher to do that. It takes a lot of guts to, have that type of energy against the Tennessee lineup that can burn you. You're sitting here playing with fire every single pitch, and you're sitting there talking crap, knowing they could throw it back in your face. That takes a lot of guts, and it just takes a lot of mental fortitude to have the ups and downs that this team's had and that Zach Root's had, and to just be confident at your best in those big moments. That's crazy stuff, man. That was really impressive. Is it my turn for best of the weekend now?
Sure is.
I do not have a baseball related one. I mean, obviously all the things we've talked about are that's actually the best part of my weekend. But I have to give a shout out. I'm not going to give a shout out to Sean O'Malley because he did not get the job done. Which, sorry, but I have to go to the UFC. Well, John, I don't know if I've ever showed you. I have a shirt of this guy named Kevin Holland. and my mother made it for me. I asked her for a very different shirt. It was like a picture of him, and it was like the Obama campaign poster, like Change or Hope or whatever, but it was his face. And I was like, that's a cool shirt. I want that. And I love that. He's like one of my favorite fighters. He's super active. He's not even that great. Like, he's never going to be a champion, but I just love watching him. He's a fun entertainer. He got a huge win this weekend, and I wanted to shout him out, and I wanted to play the video of his very, very good performance, which earned him a bonus from Dana White.
Oh, choke here. He locked it up. Good that. Kevin's really good here. That's tight. Oh, it's tight. Oh, Kevin Holland with a huge win by submission.
And I'm going to cut the video off. Well, that's where the video cuts off anyway. But he also went over and shook Donald Trump's hand, which, a lot of UFC fighters do these days. But I figure some of our audience would be into that. But Kingsley, shout out to Kingsley, by the way. Kevin Holland, Fort Worth native. And Fort Worth, he lives in Fort Worth. So if you see Kevin Holland in the streets this week, Kingsley, give him a high five and tell him good performance, because he earned it.
Yeah, it was a nice little choke out there. I wouldn't want to be in the position of the other guy. I would have tapped quicker. I think as soon as I felt the pressure, I'd have been like, "Nah, fam, I'm good, man." I don't know how those guys do that. It's a different breed over there. That was funny seeing him go out there with Trump, man, and he's just like the most popular guy in the UFC apparently. Marab got the win, and he went out there and shook his hand and everything. Kayla Harrison put the belt on him. Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah,
it's crazy, man. It's just.
Listen, if you're one of those guys, and obviously we're not getting political here, but if you're one of those guys who's like, hey, keep politics out of sports, you can't watch the UFC, because it's a very big part of it. And, a lot of us watch it in spite of it, not like because of it. But that was interesting. Trump goes to so many of those fights. It's unreal.
Yeah, he does, man. He absolutely does. Hey, before we move on, I think that Sam Pittman's best of the weekend is that the House settlement got approved. Revenue sharing's a thing now, man. Hey, listen, he's been waiting on that, baby, to close the gap there, and that got approved. And I'm going to talk about this from a basketball standpoint for the pot at the Palace tomorrow, but the revenue sharing aspect of this getting approved is a very good thing. It's 100% a good thing. Athletes, I'm never going to say student athlete again. If I do, slap me, because it's just no longer a thing. The amateurism, no. But these athletes have been the driving force behind a lot of the revenue that university athletic departments bring in. I mean, like we know that. You guys are on the field, the court, whatever. You're the reason the tickets are being sold, the merchandise is being bought, all those things. So they should get a percentage of that. They absolutely should. And people should be happy about that. Now we can talk about the slices of the pie and everything like that, and they got some stuff to figure out. The thing that's going to piss everybody off about this is the NIL collective or clearinghouse aspect of it. And so when you hear about revenue sharing and everything like that, don't get mad. And Sam Pittman's right. Like that's good. That's going to help. It's a positive. The NIL clearinghouse, where they let all the toothpaste out and made it the wild, wild west. Now they're trying to shove it all back in there and suddenly regulate this. It's crazy. It's not going to work. It's going to be a mess. Lawsuits, litigation everywhere. That is going to be an absolute goat rodeo. But the first piece of the puzzle there, good for them, good for Sam.
It's never going to end, is it?
Oh, no,
but,
absolutely
when you said Sam Pittman, I thought you were going to shout out that Razorback football got a couple commits today. Did y'all see? I think one of which happened like as soon as we started the show.
I saw the kid from local here, from Bentonville.
Yeah, Blair Urban is Bentonville's wide receiver. He's following in C.J. Brown's footsteps. Will be coming to Arkansas. And then they got a linebacker, Dalen Green, right before him, 3-star. So
yeah,
good stuff.
I was going to say the Dalen Green kid, the linebacker, he chose Arkansas over Florida State, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Duke, West Virginia, and Louisville. So some nice little gets there. But yeah, picking up a couple commits there. Razorback football getting it going. My worst of the weekend, I'll be quick with mine because it's just stupid. But not everybody's this way, so I don't want to try to just blanket everybody. But certain Tennessee fans, media members, whatever, that cried wolf, a little bit, or cried foul, or cried victim when the antics were happening from Arkansas, as in like, oh, what? So they call us classless and stuff. It's like, man, it's so stupid. It's like if you hate the way that people act towards you, then maybe you shouldn't act that way towards everybody else. And so the amount of them that were just saying that this is unacceptable, this needs to change. Our guy got ejected for a lot less, and this guy doesn't get ejected. It's like, because y'all have that reputation. It's not built on nothing. It's not that you're unfairly criticized or put into a negative light for the sake of for fun. It's y'all built that reputation. You guys are that. And so if it happens back to you, just take your medicine and own it. And it was just so ridiculous to see the clutching of pearls that were going on with all of that. I'm glad Arkansas won, and it would, Tennessee didn't even have a chance to do any of it because they didn't look good in any regard. But that was my worst of the week. And it's just anybody that was a Tennessee fan or Tennessee media or anybody criticizing or having issues with the way Arkansas was acting during the game, because it's like calling the kettle black there. It was just that stupid. So that to me was the only worst of the weekend for me.
This was mine too. So I'm going to piggyback off of it, but you're 100% right, dude. These two things are not the same. Like, don't get upset and do all the hand wringing over actions that you have provoked, right? Like it's like the golden rule, right? Like, do unto others. I mean, seriously, you can't do this and be the poster children for acting like fools and then get mad because you're doing it and it pisses off the people that you're showing up when you do it. It's just kind of crazy to me. And yeah, seeing all that and it's not just us. Oh, I hate Tennessee. Oh, poor me. That is beta behavior, man. Like, if you're going to do it, lean into it. And if I was a Tennessee fan, I would have been upset about, Zach Root doing what Zach Root did because of that, not because of Peebles or because of the reputation that we have or whatever. Just like if Liam Doyle would have done that after, getting Vahiba to ground or something, like, we would have been pissed about that. Like, that's how it works. But the us versus them, and why do we get this and they don't get that, and everybody's so mean to, why do we have this reputation, it's unfair. That's very, very soft. It's very soft.
Shout out to Eddie, who makes a great point here. He says it seemed like Tony V didn't have a problem with Root showing the emotion when asked in the post presser. Tony V was like, "Yeah, the way he threw, I probably would have yelled even more at us. He probably could have said a little bit more." And obviously, and Dave actually was more. Dave was a lot more offended by Root's outburst than Tony V or anyone over at Tennessee was. So I think that's a good point. But also, I think it's the umpire thing when people try and I'm not a huge fan of just talking about officiating in sports. Like, I do it every now and then. Of course, sometimes there's games where there's a huge play that we can't not talk about it. But I hate when people, like, that's their first thing to talk about. It's like, oh, why did this happen? And why did that happen? And I definitely don't like when you compare a call that happened a week prior in a very different game, very different situation, very different context. I mean, one guy's yelling at a player, one guy's yelling at an umpire and being like, how come this guy got ejected and this guy didn't? It's a completely different crew, completely different game, completely different venue, completely different situation. Zach Root's yelling at a guy he just got to ground into a double play. Your catcher's yelling at the umpire. Now, I know a lot of Tennessee fans are like, oh, well, he was actually yelling at the player. Well, the umpire thought he was yelling at him, so he ejected his ass. And you can take it up with that umpire, but that was a week ago. That has nothing to do with this game. I also hate when people do the screen grab thing, and they do it. I see it in any context. Like in the NFL, sometimes they'll screen grab, they'll pause a video and say, why didn't the quarterback throw the ball here? And it's like, well, things are happening in motion. I hate when people do screen grabs of pitches, and they're like, this wasn't a strike, and like the pitch isn't even in the glove yet. Or it's in the glove, and you can't tell which direction it moved. And you're like, a screen grab of a video does not show anything. I saw them literally put side by sides of like Root throwing a left-handed breaking ball and Phillips throwing a right-handed fastball. And they're like, this was a ball, this was a strike. I'm like, just like, it's very stupid. I'm going to stick on the baseball diamond for my worst of the weekend. I've got another beautiful video to play. This one was tough. As I consider myself a pitcher. I still view myself as a pitcher. I don't like seeing this. Bink, headshot.
Brutal.
Throw the ball down to start the inning. I mean, we got to get a better throw from this, better throw than this from our catcher. I mean, smacked him.
That's why Ryder skips half of the balls back up there to the mound, because he wants to avoid situations like this.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't want to do this. I saw people on the internet that were like acting like the pitcher was in the wrong here. Like, no. And there's always stupid people on the internet, but they're like, pitcher's got to get out of the way. You got to duck. I'm like, on a mid-inning throwdown, like, this is not a guy stealing. And even if it was, as the pitcher, just stand up. If you're hitting me in the head, that means your throw is bad. He's off center. Like, this is a horrible throw between innings, just taking out your starter, man. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Dang.
that was rough.
Did he get removed? Like, did he come out of the
I don't
game?
think he did. I could be wrong. I think he pitched.
Jeez, that's crazy. I do want to call the attention to the 3 people like in the second row behind the umpire and their react. The guy in the middle with the backwards hat, like he's watching the whole thing and he's just like, "Ooh, why he does that?" So like outside, always what I love is the people's reactions in the background. So, but yeah, that's tough, man. Yeah. Come on, catcher. Like we need to. Like to me, I think I was talking to Curtis about this too, and I know Helfrich has sometimes gotten it not back to the pitcher in a timely and in an accurate manner. To me, it's like that's like snapping the ball to the quarterback in shotgun. That should never be a problem. Should never, ever have problems getting the ball back to the pitcher.
At least with runners on base. Every now and then when it happens without a runner on base, I understand still being frustrated. That one I really don't care that much about. But like, yeah, when there's runners on base, you cannot have you always see the shortstop when there's like a runner on third that'll like come and back up the throw every single pitch. Vahiva will run back and forth. I'm always like, he shouldn't have to do that. Like, just throw the ball back to the pitcher. We're okay.
Right.
Yeah. All right, a few quick things. We'll get back to your chat in BetSaracen here in a second, but I do want to do our quick Alumni Hall question of the day presented by our friends over at Alumni Hall. They got all the Omaha's gear coming in. So if you're getting ready to go up to the College World Series in Omaha, we're going to be up there. Stop by our friends over at Alumni Hall, 3417 North College Avenue. They're going to have it all in stock for you. Or if you're outside of the area, you can go online at insidearkansas.com/alumni hall, or you can do that QR code up there. Use code HOGSBY20 for 20% off, and it'll be delivered straight to your door. All the Omaha's gear. Get ready for it with Alumni Hall. It's the #1 Razorback shopping experience for the reason, because they're the best. So check them out today. Just out of curiosity to see, I kind of felt like I knew where this is going to go. But polling the audience, where does Arkansas's run in the College World Series come to an end? And the reason I worded it that way is because you only get 4 options, so I try to make it make sense as much as possible. The options were first weekend exit, second weekend exit, runners up, or winning it all. What do you guys think is leading the way here for this poll question?
I hope that it's winning it all, but I could also see it runner up.
83% say winning it all.
There we go. Okay, good.
3%.
You always got to keep into account a little bit of battered hog in there, but I know we're flying high at the moment. So,
well, what's funny is that runners up is actually dead last in the ratings or in the rankings. 4.5% say runners up.
So it's probably like LSU gets you out of there, or it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second weekend is 6%, and first weekend exit is 6.5%. So
I feel like you're in this type of situation, you're always going to have the first option and the last option. Typically are like the ones you got to look out for, because you're either the pessimistic one that thinks they don't have a chance, or you're the guy that can't see any world in which they don't win the national title. It's very rare that you have the fan who's like, yeah, I think we're going to have a good run. We're going to get up there to that title series, and then we're just going to fall just short.
Yep. Well, let's just hope that 84% of you were correct, and the Hogs get it done. So, all right, let's get to your chats as well. Some final things here, sponsored by our friends over at BetSaracen, #1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas. A lot of you who are feeling the Hogs, man, and bet a lot of money on them. You made out like a bandit this past weekend because they had all the different specials going on for Razorback baseball being in postseason play. So they're going to have some specials. They got, of course, some future bets right now when it comes to the baseball postseason. Right now on BetSaracen, Arkansas leading the way, plus 210 as the favorites to win the College World Series. LSU at plus 250. And how about this, guys? Third at plus 600, Coastal Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't lost in like 2 months or something. So,
yeah. But you got Oregon State, the Beavers at plus 650, UCLA at plus 1,000, Arizona at plus 1,100, Louisville at plus 1,500, Duke at plus 2,500, and if you're feeling crazy, Murray State at plus 10,000. But either way, they got the specials. They're going to have a lot of other things too going on there. But getting to a few of your chats here, folks, which again, we appreciate everyone tuning in with us and hanging out with us. Shout out to our guy Hazelwood for the super chat. Sorry, we just got to you here, but I think it was worth it. I'm Omaha or some Arkansas baseball. 3 legs are better than 2 in my travels to Nebraska.
I appreciate
Great to hear from you, Hazelwood.
Hazelwood's our guy, of course. One thing I learned about Hazelwood this weekend, he's got a group text with a bunch of buddies that he was in the Navy with from different parts of the United States. One's a Louisville fan. There's a few other like Virginia fans. I think one's maybe a North Carolina fan. he's got them all invested in Razorback baseball, and he's bought some of them jerseys, Razorback baseball jerseys, because he's got them all in the foxhole with us. Love to see that. It's really good to talk ball with Hazelwood, and nobody brings it more than that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as we also know with Hazelwood and so many others people out there here at Inside Arkansas, we have people everywhere. Just remember that. Shout out to Pigman. Another super chat comes in. Tony's so obviously coming back. LOL. Yeah, he is. He is. And that's the thing is real quick on this last thing I'll say about this stuff, because it doesn't matter. You got Omaha, but everyone's like, oh, I hate Tony V. I don't want him. I don't want him. He said the same crap about John Calipari, and look what happened. All right. So just saying, winning can cure all. Just saying. All right. A few other chats here. Cody wants to know any news on Jimenez.
Yes, we talked about it on the postgame that they said in the postgame press conference that he was just cramps is what they thought it was. His dad, who we got to see at Foghorns this weekend, he tweeted out late last night at like 11 that Aiden's feeling good and he'll be ready to go next weekend. Now, how will that change? I don't know. Was that the most definitive? But I think that the expectation is that nothing's wrong. He's fine.
I wish there was not a way they can do it, and I'm not saying they would know immediately, but when that scenario happens, when you got the trainer out there with a pitcher, everyone just assumes, oh gosh, because usually it's, the Tommy Johns is about to happen and it becomes brutal. I wish there was a way that if it was the trainer or Dave or whoever who's walking off the mound, just gets on the line. It's just cramps, everybody, cramps. Freak out.
Yeah, guy.
Yeah, just like it's not that. So, because that's, again, that's what everyone kind of immediately jumps to when something like that happens. Let's see. Also, Mike Teed Up says, hey, Curtis, what do you think of Igor being our version of Tyler Hansborough?
I would love for him to be our version of Tyler Hansborough. I would love for anybody to be Arkansas's version of Tyler Hansborough. He's not as he's not as physically built. I think he's, Igor's probably like 6'11", 225. He's probably about TB size, honestly, is about where he's at. But he plays a lot stronger and more physical than his frame suggests. From that standpoint, he reminds me of those guys from Florida, not the Chinyalu dude that's like 260 pounds or whatever, but the two white guys that they would play at the 4 and the 5 who were just tall and long and skinny. But man, all of a sudden they've got you pushed up underneath the rim and they're crashing the offensive glass like crazy. And he's got a lot of that in his game. Reminds me a lot of Cade Phillips from Tennessee as well. So I don't know if he'd be our version of Tyler Hansborough, but he could be our version of those guys. And that would be a hell of a pickup at this stage of the game, in June, when we were to the point where we were like, oh man, like they look really good. Sure wish they would have added one more piece, but we'll roll with 8 or however many they've got in the rotation. To get a guy like this in the middle of June is a huge pickup.
You remember that time Tyler Hansborough?
Dang it.
Almost made it.
There he's back. Hey, good. Do we remember the time that Tyler Hansborough did what?
When he busted up his nose. He bloodied his nose and then was playing through it. That was good stuff. Igor, I hope he's just as good as the last Igor that came overseas to play college basketball.
Yeah, seriously. That dude's getting ready to go probably lottery. Maybe lottery.
He'll be at least
I think
top
it's probably up
sure.
there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I'm waiting to see, and I need to listen to an old broadcast or whatever, because you never know, because it could be Igor. It could be Rezov or Rizov. So I'm not 100% sure on which way that goes, but we'll see. Until told otherwise, it's Igor, baby.
No offense to any parents out there, but I'm sorry. You got to know that if you name your kid Igor, like that's you got to know, right? Like you got to know that it's gonna. I think it's like laughing at, right? Or not laughing, but just kind of funny, like Igor, because you think of like Frankenstein, and no, just Igor's one of those names where.
Well, we're also talking about an international kid.
I think it's like naming your kid from.
He's not from Springdale.
Yeah. Well, I know, but it's like Frankenstein's not an American story. It's like it's a very renowned, I think it's German or something. I don't know. Anyways, I just think if you're naming your kid Igor, you kind of know what comes along with it. But yeah, it's they probably said the same thing over in Russia, like John, idiot. Like that guy must suck. Yeah,
he has a lot of versatility to his game, and also his hair. Like he's he's done the bowl cut thing which is awesome. I just love the idea of a guy in a bowl cut dunking on somebody. But then he kind of grown it out, and he'll slick it back and go with the pony. Sometimes I've seen some braid situation. Sometimes he'll rock the headband. Sometimes he won't. So he's gonna add a little bit of swag, a little bit more aura. Not on the Amir Brown level, but he's up there.
Thoughts?
Yeah, thoughts, Curtis, to this?
I mean, I'll put it in there for discussion. We'll see what happens. It fits some of the criteria. So
yeah, but then his initials will be ew, and you don't want that. It'd be a tough thing.
You're right.
Let's see. Also, Big Left, he said my worst of the week in Tony V hawked Tua during his in-game interview. What? Did I miss something here?
John, are you there?
You guys there?
I can hear you. Everything froze on my end for a second.
Oh,
maybe
now I'm good.
Did the gods strike us down? But no, John, you did miss this because you were not watching on TV. Curtis and I had just gotten to Foghorns when they were interviewing. I guess it was like the third or fourth inning. They were interviewing Tony V, and just like right before he answers a question, just goes just like the biggest loogie you've ever seen. Just spit it, and it was like into the mic almost, and it sounded horrible.
He even said, he was like, "Yeah, that was nasty," or "That was disgusting," or something. But yeah, it's weird.
Oh. Well, am I back now? Can you guys see and hear me?
Yeah.
We can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because you guys look fine on my end. So I don't know what was going on. That's okay.
Shout out to the dude at Orchard Properties here, just mowing the hell out of the grass right in front of me. Have y'all been hearing it?
Mm-mm.
No.
I mean, this dude is mowing it's like right outside my door. It's unreal. He's pissing me off.
Blade left out there.
Yeah, geez, man.
Yeah. By the way, Zach Ward says, I'm late to the party. Did he commit? Everything online is still pointing to Ole Miss.
You might check somewhere else online, but no, he is not officially committed yet.
Okay. Let's see. Also, let's see. Preston says having the attitude Tennessee plays with and wanting Tony V to replace Dave Van Horn when the time comes is hilarious. Yeah, it is hilarious to want someone who wins at a high level. And this is my whole thing. I didn't get an argument, but I just had this woman that follows me on Twitter, and I have no problem with her, but she's just like, I am disappointed you would want Tony Vitello. I'm like, yeah, I hate winning too. I that's just something I really can't stand, because you guys are probably the same crazies that when Muss was getting it going, and if I would have said, hey, you know what, John Calipari is going to be the coach in a couple of years, you're back. You're stupid if you want him. You want to go from Eric Musselman to John Calipari? Are you serious? Like, yeah, because the dude wins. And now look at you. That's my thing. I want to win. I don't care if he's a jerk or not. He's proven winning. He's a proven winner. I still think he's the best coach in college baseball right now. I want the guy.
Also, of all the Hog fans that have been clutching their pearls and crying about Tennessee's antics, we really haven't. We've talked about it a lot, and we've, how they play with that edge and how we didn't expect them to do that at Baum, which, by the way, they didn't. And we've kind of said that all along, that like Tony V in, the hype that Tennessee plays with, it would be a little bit different at Arkansas. Would they still have that swagger and still have kind of that confidence about them? Absolutely. Will they still do things to hype it up? And like, we've never argued against that. And I've also been the guy all along that's been like, Arkansas does their fair share of that as well. People always act like Arkansas is just this buttoned-up program that never hypes up. I mean, we literally have Christian Fouch yelling absurd things at the Tennessee dugout. Like, Arkansas can dish it just as well as anybody. And so you're talking to the wrong three people. Are there a ton of Hog fans who hate the antics and hate the way Tennessee plays and probably don't want Tony V as their coach? There's a ton of them. They're not on this podcast.
We've had multiple people I've noticed throughout the course of the weekend who they're not responding to a tweet or anything. They just will tweet something, tag all three of us and the Inside Arkansas account and be like, enough with the Tony V to Arkansas talk. So they know that we're on board for that.
Yeah. Like, and my last thing on that too is like, listen, I know it's different circumstances, but Eric Musselman, when he was doing his little antics of after losses, being, pouting a lot and hating things and all that, it came with winning. And so people were like, I'll deal with it. I like it. But the second they start losing, then you hate it even more. It's the same thing with winning. If Tony V and the team were doing all those things without winning, then yes, like everyone would hate it. The Tennessee fans would hate it. But when you're winning, you can do anything. That's what it is. It's like we can go out there and drop your pants and fire a rocket if you wanted to. But as long as you just are winning, that's the only thing that matters at the end of the day.
100% right, man. Yeah, I mean, think how quickly Muss's antics soured on people in that last year. All of a sudden, they forgot about how endeared they were by him acting like a moron and jumping up on a table and taking his shirt off, or nips out everywhere in the middle of a court storm and everything like that, or the getting on the refs and going crazy and everything on the sidelines. Yeah, that was all great until they sucked one year. So you're right, man. Winning gives you a lot of leeway in this world.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually kind of crazy that we have to explain the concept of how there's some people who they're fun to cheer against, but when they're your guy, they're fun to cheer for. Like Tony V is obviously one of those guys, very polarizing. Like he's good. He's a very poppin' name that people love to cheer against and love to kind of hate. But like as I've always said, I love villains. Tony V's a villain, and it doesn't hurt my feelings to have a villain as the head coach at Arkansas. That's why we're so quick to get on the Coach Cal bandwagon. Like it's really just not that crazy of a concept.
No, there's people that hate out there that hate Lane Kiffin. You Arkansas, do you want him as your head coach? Would you be okay with Lane Kiffin to be your head? Yeah, you would. Because why? Because he wins. It's like that's all it is. All I care about is winning.
Well, he really rubbed me the wrong way, by the way, with his nonsense this weekend.
Yeah, he did.
Well,
what the hell was that?
I didn't like that. That should have been my worst of the weekend, actually.
Yeah, imagine rooting for a team that fans threw mustard bottles and golf balls at you, and you're like, yeah, that's a team I want to root for. Get out of here.
Unbelievable.
Come on, man. That's
when
terrible.
Tony V becomes the head coach, though, he'll get Kiffin on board. It'll be all good.
Yeah. They'll all be friends.
He might recruit him to come be the head coach at Arkansas, honestly.
Hey, dude, imagine that. Imagine Lane Kiffin, John Calipari, and Tony Vitello at Arkansas all together. Hang on.
Dude, we would be the most hated athletic department of all time, but it'd be a lot of winning.
It would.
Yep.
It would.
I'd be here for it. Jeremy just says Andrew is the Theo Vaughn of Inside Arkansas. It's a compliment.
I'll take this one.
That
It's-
works.
People bring up like Andrew because of the long hair and the hats and all that. He always gets compared to cool people. Like, it's not like, he looks like this ugly jerk that no one likes. It's like, well, everyone likes Theo Vaughn. Everyone likes Ryan Stanek. Everybody likes, guys like I feel like guys with long hair and the beard and all that more often than not are likable people and fun people. So always a compliment.
I'm glad you finally made that realization, John. A lot of people do point that out. They're like, "Oh, wow, yeah, you look like all these cool people." All right, yeah, fair.
Yeah. So there's worse.
Well, Kenny Powers. Yeah, sorry, I look like Kenny Powers. All right.
Yeah. Literally one of the funniest shows and funniest guys that everyone references and quotes and like would love to hang out with and go on a bender to Vegas with. Yeah, hate to be that guy. Like, yeah, no one's saying that.
The worst one, I guess, is Morgan Wallen. That's probably the closest one. But even Morgan Wallen, is making a lot of money.
Yeah, I just get tired of the Patrick Reed comparisons. That's all I hate.
That's a tough one. Although he did win a Masters, though.
Yeah, curious, you get compared to a celebrity like look like? I mean,
Derek
maybe.
Carr.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Derek Carr. I see that. Again, I was texting him again. I think I say this every time I bring it up. Texting my guy John Bolton. He's going to be in Omaha, so can't wait to see him. Former Razorback, but I'm like, dude, every time I look at your face, you look like AJ Soprano from The Sopranos, and I just will never be able to unsee it. So, sometimes it's just that way. Pablo wants to know real quick before we get out of here. A few more. He says, are y'all doing the show from Omaha on Wednesday or traveling there after the show? Well, that's what we're going to plan on our schedule and arrangements today, and we're going to keep everybody updated. We are going to be doing the show on location there in Omaha. We'll let you know on that as well. But we will be up there. It'll be later this week, and we're going to give you all the details to come and hang out with us. So stay tuned.
I feel like it'll depend on Arkansas's practice Thursday, because Thursday's the big practice day and the media day. If Arkansas's early, then yeah, we'll have to get down there the day before. But I feel like I'm hoping that they practice like in the late afternoon Thursday.
Yeah. Like I said, we'll keep you all updated on that. And also, I guess we had an LSU fan. James says, y'all Saturday start will be out the game by fifth inning.
Wait a minute. James Charles. Curtis, you know James Charles, right?
Am I supposed to?
We'll talk after the show.
Okay.
But y'all Saturday start will be out of the game. I like that they're already chirping a little bit. I mean, listen, we shall see. Yeah, Zach pitched last week, and the Zach Root that pitched the week before, and he pitched pretty well in Baton Rouge. I don't know if I'd be talking that crazy to him.
I do like seeing that we have a little bit of an LSU presence in here. I've seen a couple Oregon State fans popping in here. This is good. I like when that happens.
Yep.
For sure.
And I'll say this once it's on Omaha. The greatest thing about Arkansas playing LSU in anything is there is never confusion on who's a fan of who, because there's not the bigger staunch difference of colors between cardinal and white and purple and yellow. Like there's not, there couldn't, so you can see exactly who the fans are and where they're coming from. But it's going to be a great week up there in Omaha. So guys, any final thoughts before we roll out of here for the day?
I was just Googling James Charles. Anyway.
I bet those search results were a wild roller coaster.
My final thoughts. I should have just waited to talk to you after the show. Woo big, man. I got nothing else.
Yeah, proud damn state. The hog is strong, and we got a couple football commits, so we're happy about our team. We like our team.
Yeah. Well, my final thought is just can't wait. Can't wait to go up to Omaha. Can't wait to get up there. Can't wait to do all of our shows from up there. And can't wait to spend quite a few days up there. I'm hoping so. But we're going to have all the content for you right here at Inside Arkansas when it comes to all things Razorback baseball, basketball, football, all of it. You can check it out right here. So be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube at Inside Arkansas. You can check out our social medias at Inside Arkansas. You can also subscribe to our audio version podcast of Inside Arkansas Live, as well as Pod at the Palace, as well as the Bombastic Podcast. All of that stuff. And once again, appreciate everybody that we ran into this past couple weekends and that came up to us. And, we got some pictures with people and everything. And, I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm saying that because we really do appreciate it. We love it when we get to talk to people. And real quick, Curtis, I think me and you got to meet a gentleman that's stationed out in California. He's a Marine and was in Japan even. And he came up to us at Foghorns and was like, hey, man, you guys are the reason why I'm able to keep up with Razorback sports, and stuff like that. It's just so cool. And we love that.
Happen? I missed that. What the hell?
16-hour time difference.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying.
When did that happen? How did I miss that?
Yesterday, right before we walked over.
Where was I?
I think you were talking to the Beidelshe family or the friends, I think. So,
gotcha.
But either way, no, it's just cool. But thank you, everybody, to hanging out with us, supporting us, and being a part of the journey, because we can't wait to have it up here in Omaha, and hopefully it continues to be awesome. So that'll do it for us today. For Andrew Ellis, as well as Curtis Wilkerson, I am John Neighbor. Same sports show, same sports channel, tomorrow at noon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you.